Namaskar. Prayers for your and your family members' safety and health. This is the third part of the video lesson related to chapter number 2 of class 11th English. Name of the chapter: We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. In this chapter, we saw that a family decides to go on a sea voyage going round the world. While they start from Europe and reach South Africa, they have a very safe voyage. But in the Southern Ocean, when they start from Cape of Good Hope towards India, they were expecting a rough sea, and the rough sea it was. On the way, they met with a stormy sea. Huge waves coming their way. At one point of time, the sea was very stormy and they met with an accident. There was a lot of water in their boat and they tried really hard to remove the water from the boat. At one point of time, they decided that they will not be able to go to Australia. So they found the nearest landmass and they could find that there were two small islands nearby. We had read till here. Now let us read further. In the previous video session, we left at this line: we aren't afraid of dying if we can all be together. You and Mummy, Sue and I. This line is taken as the title of the chapter. So the family was together in diversity, and they had one satisfaction, that they were together, and because of that they were easily ready to face the danger, face the death. Let us read further. I could find no words with which to respond, but I left the children's cabin determined to fight the sea with everything I had. Whatever resources they had, the narrator was firm to fight whatever the condition. He was determined to steer the wheel, to steer the boat to the island, come what may. To protect the weakened starboard side, I decided to heave to, heave means to move to, with the undamaged part hull facing the oncoming waves, using an improvised sea anchor of heavy nylon rope and two 22-liter plastic barrels of paraffin. So he designs a strategy. He best uses the resources that he has got, and then trying and calculating how he can move further in the stormy sea with the damaged boat that he has and the limited resources on the boat. That evening, Mary and I sat together holding hands as the motion of the ship brought more and more water in through the broken planks. We both felt the end was near. Mary and the narrator, they sat together holding hands, giving satisfaction to each other, giving comfort to each other in this time of difficulty. And they noticed that more and more water was coming in through the broken wooden planks, and both of them, they lost their hope. I would not say that they lost their hope, but they accepted the fact that because of this condition they may perish, they may die. They both felt that the end was very near. But Way Walker rode out the storm, and by the morning of January 6th, with the wind easing, I tried to get a reading on the sextant. So even though there was storm, their boat Way Walker moved ahead, kept on moving, and the weather changed on January 6th. The wind eased, and at this juncture in the morning on January 6th, the narrator saw that instrument which is known as sextant back in the chart room. I worked on wind speeds. Changes, of course. Wind speed changes, of course. Drift and current in an effort to calculate our position. The best I could determine was that we were somewhere in 150000, that is 1,50,000 kilometers of ocean, looking for a 65 kilometer wide island. So after the calculation, still there was a little hope, and they were trying their best resources, but it was like searching a pin in the haystack. That means the island that they were looking for was just 65 kilometer wide, and they were in 1,50,000 kilometers of ocean. So as against 1.5 lakh kilometer, they were looking for an island which was just like a pinprick. When I was thinking, Sue, moving painfully, joined me. The left side of her head was now very swollen, and her blackened eyes narrowed to slits. She gave me a card she had made. So when the narrator was out thinking, Sue, that is his daughter, came to him. She was suffering from pain because it was noted by the narrator that she had got swollen forehead, and eyes had blackened, and the eyes, because of the swelling on the face, looked like slits, small openings. She gave me a card that she had made. So that was a small gift from Sue to the narrator. On the front, she had drawn caricatures of Mary and me with the words, "Here are some funny people. Did they make you laugh?" I laughed a lot as well. So the daughter had made a kind of a greeting card for father and mother, and there were pictures of father and mother, that is Mary and the narrator, and there was a little message there mentioning that the two of them looked funny, asking that the funny caricature made the father laughed or not. When you opened the card, inside there was a message, "Oh, how I love you both." So this card is to say thank you and let's hope for the best. Somehow we had to make it. So the card which was gifted to the father also indicates that still they had hope. The card was kind of a thank you card from a daughter to her parents. I checked and rechecked my calculations. We had lost our main compass, and I was using a spare which had not been corrected for magnetic variation. So the compass, which is used to understand the direction, because in the sea the sailors lose the sense of direction. So compass is very important to identify the north, south, east, west direction. And the compass that the narrator was using was not accurate. Still, he tried using it. I made an allowance for this and another estimate of the influence of the westerly currents which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. So after reading the compass and also taking in consideration the influence of the ocean currents, westerly ocean currents, and an estimation of the place he was, he made an estimation how long he would take to reach the island. It was about 2 p.m. I went on deck and asked Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees. So after making an estimation, he gave directions to Larry to move ahead a course of 185 degrees. If we were lucky, I told him with a conviction. So for surety, conviction, he told Larry that I did not feel he could expect to see the island at about 5 p.m. So it was about 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and after the estimation, he was thinking that it would definitely take more than 3 hours. It could be beyond that is 5 p.m. He could expect to see the island at around 5 p.m., not before that. Then, with a heavy heart, I went below, climbed on my bunk, and amazingly dozed off. That is, he went down in the cabin and slept, that is, dozed off. When I woke up, it was 6 p.m. and growing dark. I knew we must have missed the island, and with the sail we had left, we couldn't hope to beat back into the westerly winds. So see, he was expecting to reach by 5 p.m. and after giving directions to Larry, he went down to sleep, and when he woke up it was 6 p.m. and there was no indication of the island around. So he thought that they may have gone past the island, and it would be difficult to turn back against the current if the island was left behind. So it was really very difficult. It was a heartbreaking moment, one can say. At that moment, a tousled head appeared by my bunk. So a person who has got untidy hair, not combed hair, it means that, and said, it was Jonathan. Can I have a hug? Jonathan asked. Sue was right behind him. So the narrator asked, why am I getting a hug now? So the son, that is Jonathan, replied, because you are the best daddy in the whole world and the best captain. My son replied, not today, John, I'm afraid. Today I'm not the best captain. See, we are in a very difficult condition, and we have gone past by the island. So I don't think that I am the best captain. I should not have gone to sleep. Why, you must be, said Sue in a matter-of-fact voice. You found the island. What? I shouted. So that was a surprise. The narrator was thinking that they had gone past by the island. But now here the daughter mentions that you are the best captain. You brought us to the island. So that was a big surprising news for the narrator. It's out there in front of us, as big as a battleship. So they were there at the island. close to it. I rushed on deck and gazed with relief at the stark outline of Ile Amsterdam, that's the name of the island. It was only a bleak, that is dark piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation. The most beautiful island in the world. So even though it was bleak, it was dark, and it was not kind of welcoming. It was a volcanic rock island. It was the most beautiful island because it had given hope. It had saved the lives of the family members. So therefore, the narrator mentions that it is the most beautiful island in the world. We anchored offshore for the night. Next morning, all 28 inhabitants of the island cheered as they helped us ashore. So they were finally on the island, and the 28 people staying on the island welcomed the narrator and his family and the crew members. With land under my feet again, my thoughts were full of Larry and Herbie, cheerful and optimistic under the duress stress, and of Mary, who stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours. So the optimism of Larry and Herbie brought the crew, the narrator and the family there on the island. Their lives were saved. Even in the distressing situation, they did not lose hope. They were optimistic, and finally their optimism worked. They were on the land. Most of all, I thought of a 7-year-old girl, that is the narrator's daughter, who did not want us to worry about a head injury. See, she had got a head injury. Head was swollen. But this girl did not want us, that is narrator and other people, to worry about a head injury, which subsequently took 6 minor operations to remove a recurring blood clot between skin and skull. So this girl, a girl of 7 years, was very matured, and she understood that there may be a wrong influence of her injury, and she did not want to disturb the narrator and the other crew members. She did not show that she had a lot of pain. In fact, she did not want anybody to worry. Though it was a major wound, because it took 6 operations, there was a blood clotting. The narrator also mentions that the 6-year-old boy who was not afraid to die. So the girl, that is 7-year-old girl, and the 6-year-old boy, that is the narrator's daughter and son, they did not want anybody to worry by telling that they were worried or they had met with the injury. In fact, they supported the crew and the narrator by giving hope, by building confidence, and by being fearless. And the hope worked for them. They were finally on the island. Therefore, if we talk about the title once again, we are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So the bonding was very strong among the family members, and even though it was a distressing situation, they were all together, which gave them hope, which gave optimism, and it worked wonders for the entire crew. So that is the lesson. I want you to read the chapter once again and answer the questions of the text. That was all for this session. Write down the question and answers in your English notebook. Bye then. God bless you, and may peace be with you.